On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers achieved man's first powered flight in a heavier-than-air machine. The Wright Flyer was airborne for just 12 seconds. Less than 13 years later, during World War I, American airmen were fighting for their lives in the skies over Europe. One of their fighter planes was the Nieuport 28. Made in France, it had a 160 horsepower engine, a top speed of about 130 miles an hour, and was fitted with two 30 caliber machine guns. Listen now as a 1916 Nieuport flies by, its guns blazing. One of the great fighter planes of World War II was the North American P-51 Mustang. Its operational ceiling was 30,000 feet at speeds of well over 400 miles per hour. It was the last American propeller-driven fighter to see active service in the Korean War. Today, the standard fighter of Tactical Air Command of the U.S. Air Force is the F-100 Super Sabre. It can exceed the speed of sound in straight and level flight, and may be armed with rockets, cannon, or bombs. We hear now an F-100 being started up. The first sound is the mobile starting engine, followed by the familiar rising whine of the jet turbines. The Super Sabre has taxied down to the end of the runway and is now waiting permission from the control tower to take off.
918 cleared for takeoff, wind southwest 12.
All right, 918 going.
Now we are waiting for the pilot, Captain Bob Ronker, to bring his Super Sabre hurtling in over the airfield just above ground level at over 600 miles an hour. As the plane passes overhead, Captain Ronker pulls the stick back into his stomach and stands the fighter on its tail. He streaks into the sky straight up and cuts in the afterburner for extra climbing power. He cuts it out on reaching desired altitude, and is by then no more than a speck in the blue above. As he finally disappears, we hear Captain Ronker's voice. The microphone inside the pilot's oxygen mask picks up the sound of his breathing.
This is Captain Bob Ronker in F-100 005. On this last pass, I will fly directly over you at supersonic speed. My supersonic boom will hit you before you hear the sound of my aircraft going over. I'm now turning in for my pass at 10,000 feet and will dive slightly to pick up airspeed. My airspeed is now 700 miles per hour, 750, 800. I'm now stabilized at well over 800 miles per hour at Mach 1.2. The supersonic boom should hit you in just a few seconds.
The sonic boom is caused by the air being suddenly split apart by the plane and then rushing together again. As a contrast in sizes of aircraft, let's listen now to 6 giant B-52 Stratofortresses flying by in close formation. There were dangers in flying the Nieuports of World War I. There are dangers in flying today's supersonic aircraft. Here, the pilot of an F-102 Delta Dagger is in trouble. His jet engine has stopped, and he can't restart it. The pilot needs assistance, and as fast as possible. Mayday is the pilot's emergency call for help.
This is 102-15-777. Anybody read me on guard channel, over. 15777 Demon here on guard channel. Do you copy, over? Roger, Demon. 15777. I just had a flame out somewhere north of Crestview. I estimate about 50 miles. Squawking emergency. You have me on the weapon? Roger, just pick up emergency squawk that time. Your pigeon's in the home plate. Snap vector 185 degrees. What is your present altitude? 777, over. Roger, Demon. 15777. I'm down at 20,000 feet. I'm trying to get an air start now. Stand by. I'm trying to drain in the tailpipe now. Roger, 777, we have you under good radar contact here. Demon, you need not answer. Give me your altitudes in 5,000 increments on the way down. We'll see if we can get you into field 3 or field 1, if possible, nearest field 2 you, over. This is Demon here. Are you VFR at the present time, over? Roger, Demon. Doesn't look like I won't be able to make it. The air start ignition switch doesn't seem to work. Looks like I'm going to have to leave it. What's my pigeons now, please? Yeah, your pigeons in now are still at 185 now. You're dropping down to 32. What is your present altitude, Demon, here? Roger, down to 10,000. I'm going to have to leave it, Demon. Going in a port, Army. 777 is Demon here. I think you got glide distance enough here to make field 3. Do you have visual on it? Is it too long, over? Negative, Demon. Can't make it. I'm going to leave it at this time. You got my possession. Right, get your position. We'll have Air Sea Rescue as already notified. We'll have them pick you up, over. Right, you're blowing the canopy now. Good day.
The pilot ejected himself. A cannon shell blew him, seat and all, out of the cockpit, and he parachuted to safety. The first of the big rockets was the German V-2, Hitler's secret weapon of the Second World War. A large number of V-2 parts were captured and brought to this country. Some 70 V-2s were assembled, and over 60 were fired. We take you now to the White Sands Proving Grounds in New Mexico for the test firing of a V-2.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In the V2 countdown, the rocket motor is fired at -1.5 seconds when the fuel is ignited. 2 seconds later, the fuel pumps are switched on, and after 3 more seconds, the rocket lifts off its pad. After the countdown to 0 for a liquid fuel missile, there is a plus count that continues until the missile reaches its target or places its satellite in orbit. We take you now from White Sands to Cape Canaveral.
Personnel to evacuate the area at this time. All personnel not assigned to the block. All personnel not immediately needed during this operation retiring to the watch-out and ready room area.
It is December 18th, 1958. At Cape Canaveral, we are preparing for a very special shot. Atlas rocket 10B stands on its launching pad. In the nose cone, 75 feet above ground, is the history-making payload of Project SCORE. As the countdown continues toward 0, orders are given by the project officer and confirmed. Then, at T-minus 37 seconds, we hear the test director announce, "I have a FRIP complete light." His control board signal lights show that everything is in perfect order for the launch, and he presses the button to set in operation the automatic sequencing device. From this moment on, the Atlas launching is totally automatic. At T-minus 7 seconds, you will hear a triumphant shout, "Ignition," as the rocket motors come to life. 1 second later, main stage, as all 3 rocket engines reach full power. The big missile is now being held down on the pad until it builds up thrust for takeoff. At +3 seconds, a klaxon horn blares outside the blockhouse, the hold-down clamps fall away, and Atlas 10B climbs into the sky with a thundering roar. This recording was made with microphones placed both inside and outside the blockhouse. Listen now as we pick up the count for Project SCORE and Atlas 10B.
Test telephone switch to arm light on.
Switching command to internal. Fuel tank pressure 60, lock 45, Gregory. Roger.
-130.
Securing lock tank. Switching to internal DC power.
-125.
Switching telemetering to lock condition.
-120.
Status check. Command on internal.
Affirmative.
Telemetry and launch condition.
Affirmative.
Missile and internal DC.
Affirmative.
Pressurization complete.
Affirmative.
T-minus 60 seconds and counting.
Range safety test selector switch to arm.
Status check. Range safety arm light on.
Affirmative.
Range ready.
Ready.
Water system ready.
Affirmative.
I have a prep complete light. Locks tanking secured.
Box tanking secured.
T-minus 27 seconds and counting. All recorders and oscillographs to fast. Vernier start.
Lock star tank pressurized. Ground fuel star tank pressurized.
Come on, baby. Come on, honey. Pick up, babe.
Count.
-10. 9. 8.
Ignition. Water full flow. Main stage. 4, 3, 2,
Just let it go.
It was a perfect launch. Project SCORE has succeeded. The payload, still attached to the spent rocket, is in orbit around the Earth. The whole rocket, minus the boosters, which were dropped off on the way up, is now a satellite. Among the instruments in the payload are a tape recorder and a radio transmitter. Acting on telemetry signals from here on Earth, the tape recorder is switched on, and its message broadcast to every country in the world. President Eisenhower is speaking to the world from outer space.
This is the President of the United States speaking. Through the marvels of scientific advance, my voice is coming to you from a satellite circling in outer space. Through this unique means, I convey to you and to all mankind America's wish for peace on Earth.